Hello and welcome, NeckWave here, and this is going to be my virtual presentation where I talk about pop music. I did say in the previous video on modern music and beauty that I was going to do this, so here we are. I'm going to start off, now I should be clear though, I am talking about music that's released this year that does get popular. Now, with that out of the way, first up is the stuff that is basically known in the greater mainstream of everything, which is Alex Warren's Ordinary, Sabrina Carpenter's Manchild, and Golden from the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack. Now, one of the things that's interesting when it comes to pop culture, well, popular music more specifically, is that a lot of people get this idea that, well, it's big, it's well known, therefore everyone likes it. Except that, no, not everyone likes it. And in the whole thing of what is famous and what is infamous and stuff like that, it's just a matter of, well, what have many people heard of? And yeah, when it comes to these three songs, there's a lot that people have heard of and a lot that people will talk to others about. However, a funny thing when it comes to popular music in the modern era is that it's not always popular per se. Not only is it that it's not always something that everyone just enjoys, but it's also the fact that not everyone has heard these songs. Which, yeah, may sound surprising to those who are accustomed to hearing them, but yeah, don't be surprised if you go to ask if anyone has heard these songs and they only know one of them. You might even find someone who has never heard of any of these songs. And that is a interesting thing. Of course, so there's many reasons for this, such as like whatever their community is, what their community's into, and stuff like that. But there's also a lot of smaller things. For example, with Ordinary, it is indeed a song that has very beautiful lyrics to it, very well sung. But at the same time, it is also of the stomp, clap, yell genre. And depending on who you are, you either love stomp, clap, yell, or you don't love it. Some people are indifferent to it. I myself am someone who is indifferent, so if not for this video, I would not have listened to Ordinary. And then there are those who just absolutely hate Stomp, Clap, Yell because of the very thing that defines that genre. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who love Ordinary, and there are going to be people like me who acknowledge that it's a beautiful song, but just don't really care for it because, again, the genre. And then there are those who hate it for its genre. And the same thing goes with the others. Sabrina Carpenter's Manchild, though, is a little bit more complicated than that because, as I said in previous videos, the lyrics do suggest that it is a very cynical song, kind of cynicism that a lot of people are just sick and tired of. But at the same time, if you pay attention to the lyrics, you'll find that it's not all bad. You know, it's about always attracting the attention of the man-child, the himbo, and the like, but finding such people endearing, you know. It doesn't say it outright, but if you pay attention to, like, later in the song, it is suggested of this. And not admitting to finding it endearing. So, yeah, that is an interesting thing. But of course, so there is one other thing to be said of Manchild, which is that it's got a very basic instrumental track. You know, it's basically just wallpaper and that's it. And it's not to say that I don't like the genres that use like synthwave and stuff like that. I actually do enjoy that sort of thing. But the thing is that I don't believe the other elements of that song actually complement it, which is probably why some people would favor Sabrina Carpenter's other songs over Manchild. The fact that it's just background noise if you take away the singing. And then there's Golden. Now, an interesting thing is Golden, much like any other song from the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack, is something that a lot of people enjoy. A lot of people say you got to check this stuff out. But there are also a lot of people out there who will say that, who just will dismiss it. They don't like it. They don't enjoy it. And a lot of it comes down to one weird thing, a weird trend that I see pop up a lot of times, especially in the comment sections when people are speaking are posting comments in response to uh, various commentators on music and React channels, which is that a lot of people blame CGI for the fall of music, acting as though CGI ruins music. And since it is a CGI animated film, people are going to be inclined to say that the music's bad just because the film is CGI. Yep, just like how there's people who will completely dismiss glam rock just because, not because of the way the music sounds, but because all the performers have wild hair and makeup, you know? And there's a lot more to it, but a lot of it comes down to it's CGI, therefore they're not even going to bother. And it's funny because even those who didn't like K-pop find these songs to be enjoyable. But if you're the type who strongly believes that CGI ruins music, you're not gonna like K-pop Demon Hunters for some weird reason. I don't get it myself, but that is how some people are. Now, with that said, there are other modern music that's surprisingly enough popular, but don't really break into the mainstream. Start things off with the Guilty Gear Strive soundtrack. Like, the game's already out, but every so often, over the past couple of years, new characters get added and a new song for that character is released. As is the case with Carpe Diem, I see a lot of people saying you should listen to Carpe Diem, which, and like me personally, I favor A Tenth of Myself over Carpe Diem, but that's just me. But this one has another problem, in which case people quickly dismiss it because, well, it's associated with video games. And a lot of people do have a weird idea when it comes to that. But what happens when you have people who are dismissive because of CGI and video games? Well, that's where we come to the next one. Very beautiful song called Ash Again by Galgura and Casey Edwards. In which case, the woman performing as Galgura basically opened up to Casey Edwards, and Casey Edwards created lyrics, put words to her thoughts to create this beautiful song. Basically her last song performing as Galgura. She basically retired the character and is performing as someone else. But yeah, with Ash Again, it is beautiful in the sense that it is a huge thank you to the people who supported her. But at the same time, it's a big screw you to the people who criticized her. And that's the thing that makes it very powerful, and a lot of people enjoy it. And you really hear the emotion in it. But Galgura is one of those people who perform as a CGI character, basically VTuber. If you're confused, look to the right of the screen. What I'm doing is basically the same thing. Although I have basically using 5-year-old technology to do this, so nowhere near as advanced as everyone else out there. But yeah, a lot of people dismiss it because Galgura, not just the people who criticize her for her voice and stuff like that, but also people who just don't like the CGI. And there's also going to be people who would be dismissive of Ash Again because Casey Edwards worked on it. And for those who don't know, Casey Edwards has actually worked on the soundtrack of various games, with his most popular and well-known song being Bury the Light. So there is that. Now below that is the song Number Go Up by The Stupendium. Now, an interesting thing, this goes more into fan music, and a lot of people do tend to have a very negative view when it comes to fan works, often the expectation of it being amateur and stuff like that. And I think that is a huge injustice to the people who actually do put effort into their craft. And Stupidium proves that very much with Number Go Up, a song that uses a visual. The video uses a visual aesthetic based on the video game Balatro, but the song itself is more about gambling and the highs and lows about gambling, and basically not just with gambling as in playing cards, but also gambling at a lot of things in life that you probably shouldn't be gambling. Like, it is a very well done song that is something that's like I would strongly suggest listening to. Then again, I strongly suggest listening to the music that I'm basically showing now. But yeah, it's a nice, very well done message, good flow and everything like that. Excellent lyrics, excellent instrumentation. And then there's Music Box of Fate. Yeah, okay, Music Box of Fate, performed by Ironmouse, another VTuber. And a lot of the music is composed by Wonder Riku and Starlight Daryl. Almost forgot her name this recording. Don't want to do that again. But yeah, so Starlight and Wonder did like composition, lyrics writing, and stuff like that. And of course, working with Ironmouse, so this way she would have sing it. They get an orchestra together for the instrumentation. Like, it comes out very powerful, beautiful song about overcoming the difficulties to achieve what you love, to reach out for what you love. Very beautiful, very powerful. And of course, this especially matches for Ironmouse because she does have a health condition that does limit her ability to have a career. I'm not going to go into detail. There's plenty of people out there who's done stories about Ironmouse's life, at least what's been shared publicly. Not going into her private life or anything like that, thankfully. But yeah, she had a health condition. Like, Ironmouse tried to be. Well, she went into education, went into school to learn to be an opera singer, but then, unfortunately, due to health complications such as common variable immunity disease, I think it's called. But she ended up, because of the whole thing with the internet and whatnot, the whole VTuber thing, she got a second chance to have a music career. So there's that. As well as the fact that she will also do stuff where she's like playing games and other fun streamer stuff. So yeah. Now the last one here, I gotta make some justice. Okay. Next one is Monologue. Now, I'll be honest, I've never heard these two people before, but I have to say it is a pretty good song. One of the tastemakers that I follow had spoke of one of them, and yeah, it's a random one. I've only heard a few people talk about, but this one I just threw in there because I thought it was something that was worth listening to, worth checking out. Of course, once again, if you're one of those people who's bothered by CGI, VTubers, and blah blah blah, you're probably not gonna be into it. And that's basically it with the video on the. So yeah, this is popular stuff that does exist in modern music, but at the same time, not a lot of people are aware of it because it doesn't get the mainstream attention. And if you're wondering why, well, I already laid it out in previous videos. Well, I feel like this video won't be complete without doing this. But yeah, one last shout out is Nanners, who's another one that does music, the whole VTuber scene and whatnot. Had joined in a huge collab with Starlight and Wonder and others to do a cover of Music Box of Fate, which is interesting. Bunch of people, some are many are VTubers, some are not. So that was an interesting thing. And also, Magic Circuit there, who worked with both Ironmouse and Nanners for virtual realities. So, yeah, so if you want to know what my thoughts on more complex synthwave, there you go. There's a lot more I can say, but honestly, I think that's everything that I need to say. So, with all that said, I'm Nick Levy, and I thank you for watching.